This is Kugan Cassius for IFLTV. We are nearly there. It's weighing day for the last crescendo. Do you know what the last crescendo means?
Yes. I can't remember the actual definition, but it's the last event happening, sort of.
You sound like Eddie Hearn now. Trying to blag it.
I'm not blagging it.
Crescendo.
It's like it's got boom, the final.
Crescendo is the loudest point of a gradually rising sound.
Yeah, but it's a music term, isn't it? Bam! There you go.
Yeah.
See, I knew it. I just couldn't get my words out because I weren't expecting that question.
There we go. No boxer knew it, by the way.
Sharp haircut you got today, mate.
What?
Sharp haircut.
Thank you. Shout out high-end salon in Riyadh. What a mad 24 hours this has been. I mean, Dave, you've been around the boxing scene all your life. I don't remember a situation for such a high-profile show where basically the co-main event has fallen out due to Dubois' illness, and then the madness of getting Bakole on a plane who was probably laying at a beach in Congo, and he's on his way here. It's mental.
Mate, it's crackers. To get the calibre of opponent in, and it's the one guy that no heavyweight seems to want to fight. He's like, he's the one. Everybody will just swerve. Nobody calls his name. Nobody mentions his name. And he's been banging on the door. His coach Billy Nelson's been screaming as loud as he can on Twitter.
I heard that.
It's like they've got the wish, and for him to step in at 2 days' notice when he's got a final eliminator coming up. A final eliminator is different to eliminator. Final eliminator means you're guaranteed to fight for the world title if you win that. So he's a favourite in that fight. For him to give that up and to jump in at 2 days' notice when he's out in Congo on holiday or just whatever he's doing, ticking over maybe, tells you the amount of confidence that he's got.
If you're Joseph Parker though, and obviously this situation had to be resolved in double quick time, we saw kind of all the people involved kind of pacing up and down yesterday, but obviously they're presented with this opportunity that Parker obviously wants to stay on the bill. The best available opponent is by far, out of all the names, no disrespect to the others, but is Martin Bakole. But it kind of puts Parker's team in a bit of a predicament that what do? We need to kind of take this fight, and it could be in their favour, it could not. We ain't going to know until tomorrow.
This is, it takes you back, it's a throwback fighters, they didn't really duck anybody, the teams, and they didn't allow other people to get in the way of fights, and they say that they think they're the best, they want to be the best, so they'll prove the best, and that's what Joseph Parker is. He's on a good run of form. He's got some great experience. He's a far better fighter now than when he was WBO world champion. He's clicked with his coach, Andy Lee. He's got a good man behind him. He's got a good team behind him. And it shows their level of confidence. And also, it's like, you know what? They must have had a great camp. They must feel as though he's in the shape of his life because he was preparing for a real fight in Daniel Dubois. So why let that all go to waste? If you're at the best that you can be, then you believe that you're going to beat anybody. And I would say that probably the team looking at Bakole, 2 days' notice, if you ever want to fight Martin Bakole, it's on 2 days' notice, not on 6, 8, 10, 12 weeks' notice. So probably looking at that and thinking, do you know what, we should win. And by rights, Parker should win because he's the one that's been in full-on training camp. But again, for Bakole to take the fight, for drop everything and to go at 2 days' notice, it kind of reminds me of your old school fighters, James Toney and people like that. They spar. We're always hearing about sparring stories from Billy and from Bakole himself about who they sparred, what they've done. He must do a lot of rounds. He must spar. He might be one of these fighters that doesn't have to be athletically fit, as in doing the S&C and making sure they're getting the runs and stuff, in order to do in the ring what they do on the pads and on the bags. He might be one of these fighters, like a James Toney, like other fighters from those sort of times and beyond, where they were sparring fit. So they'd get their fitness from sparring. Didn't really enjoy anything else in boxing, sparring. And so they'd be gym fit. Maybe he feels as he's got that inner fitness for fighting. So a couple of days' notice, maybe we've done a few bags out in Congo, a little bit of something just to tick over. Feels as though we can go in there and do a job on Parker. It must be confidence to take the fight at 2 days' notice and risk his shot at a world heavyweight title, because this isn't even for the title. So
WBO interim, isn't it?
Yeah, which means nothing. So really, he must know something that we don't, because everybody is saying, oh, he's going to be good for 4 rounds and he'll have 4 rounds in tank. I think maybe he feels he'll be good for 8 rounds.
There's so many fights on the card. I'm just going to pick the main event, obviously, for you to kind of give us your take on it. Close fight in the first fight. Some people thought Bivol had it, obviously.
I did.
Yeah, Beterbiev did come out on top on that. Are you expecting a similar kind of fight to what we saw in the first?
Do you know what? I actually expect a better fight. I think one of the big surprises for me was that Beterbiev didn't go to the body earlier. Now, was that because he had that knee injury and it was a short window of time to recover, so he couldn't get into range, he couldn't move his legs as much as he wanted to, couldn't get much purchase on his body shots maybe, I don't know. But for some reason, if you look at the fight, for the first 4 or 5 rounds, he hardly went to the body. He started going to the body mid-rounds, and then you saw towards the back end of the fight, last couple of rounds, Bivol was dragged into a dogfight, and then it became really hard for him. If Beterbiev's looking at that VT, obviously looking at it and saying, right, okay, we need to go to the body more, drag him into a dogfight earlier, can Bivol then withstand that pressure for a longer, rather than just a couple of rounds at the back end of the fight, 2-3 rounds? If he was to having to stand there more from rounds 6-7 because of the early body work, that makes a big difference in the fight. So I think Beterbiev, having more recovery time now, his knee and everything, he'll probably be able to have trained properly, whereas they'll have had to have adapted the training for the first fight. I think he'll be better. Bivol, on the other hand, when you're a fighter and you're coming up against somebody that's a bit of a monster, knocking everybody out, and they've got this, famed power, although you're confident, although you believe you can do what you need to do with them and cope with it, you don't actually know until you start getting it on the button. Once you've been in the ring, you understand what that power's about, you understand how it feels. That going 12 rounds with Beterbiev for Bivol, in his mind now, we've heard him say that he feels like he should have done more. He's accepted defeat really, really well. Obviously it was a close fight, could have gone either way, but he's accepted defeat really well and just said, I need to do more. I think that after having tasted that power and tasted that strength, he'll be confident now. He'll be more confident now because he knows it's not an unknown anymore. So he's not going in with this mythical, figure, a monster. He's actually being in with him. So only thing is with that I think, does that then play into Beterbiev's hands? Because if Bivol does more and he holds his feet more, then does it give Beterbiev more chance? This is why I don't know who's going to win the fight. It's genuinely that good a fight where I don't know. The first fight, I did side with Bivol, and I thought Bivol just nicked it, but it could have gone either way. But this one, it's the body punching, and I just don't know. I don't know, I'll be honest with you.
All right, we'll leave this on the fence for that one. I might
have to see him on scales.
All right, we'll have a look. Right, just one word answers for the rest of the card, David. Just pick them through. Ready? Cabal Zhang.
Cabal.
Smith Buatsi.
Callum Smith.
Virgil Ortiz Madrimov.
Madrimov. And that's the one fight out of the whole card where I've not shifted. Everything else, I'm like that. This one, I've said Madrimov from the minute it was made.
Stevenson and Josh Padley.
Stevenson. What a story for Padley, though. And if Padley does pull it off, it's got to be the biggest upset ever.
Have I missed one? Have I missed one?
No, I think that's it. No, yeah, I think you have missed one.
All right. I feel like I have missed one. But